Hey, all you creatives out there, I have a question for you. Are you a starter or are you a finisher? Greetings everyone, welcome to the underground lair where we bring our creations to life. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. I'm a professional illustrator, designer, and mad creator. And what I find with most creative types usually fall under two categories, starters and finishers. So are you the type that, starts projects but really never finishes them? Or are you more of a person that has trouble starting projects? So once you kind of identify the kind of person you are, you can kind of figure out the best way to be more productive. I will tell you kind of what I am toward this video, at least what I think I am. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to do a sketch and we're going to talk about the difference between starters and finishers and what I think I am. All right, so if you are an artist and you have trouble starting projects or maybe have trouble finishing them, chances are you may fall into one or two categories, a starter or a finisher. Most people do, especially creative types, and that could be why we're having problems, either getting our projects off the ground or starting them and then just finishing them. So I'm going to talk about some different categories and how starters and finishers fit into those particular categories so you can identify which you fall under, and maybe that will help you out with whatever projects you may be struggling with. So when it comes to mindset, a starter is somebody who tends to be full of ideas and is really enthusiastic, but they may have difficulty seeing projects through to completion. A finisher, on the other hand, is somebody who has the discipline and focus to follow through on their plans and bring projects to completion. Now let's talk about initiative. A starter is somebody who's more focused on the initial stages of a project and tends to be more interested in the possibilities of what could be. A finisher is more interested in the details and is focused on making sure everything is executed properly. Let's talk about persistence. Starters may lose interest or get sidetracked easily, while finishers are more persistent and determined to finish what they've started. Planning. Starters are more spontaneous in their approach to projects, while finishers tend to be more methodical and strategic in their planning. Let's talk about flexibility. Starters tend to be more open to change, while finishers are more focused on sticking to the plan and seeing it through to the end. Prioritization. Starters may struggle to prioritize their task and focus on what's most important. Finishers have a clear sense of what needs to be done and when, and work to stay on schedule to meet deadlines. All right, and last but not least, adaptability. Starters are more often willing to try new things, while finishers are more focused on completing the task at hand. Now, ideally, you want to be both of these things, but like I said, most people aren't. Most people are kind of one or the other. So if we can kind of bridge that gap and kind of move more to the center, that's the perfect scenario. That's kind of like the Goldilocks situation where it's just right. But some of us need to do a little work in that department to get a little more towards one or the other. But if you do fall squarely on one side, you may want to find a partner that you can work with that's the opposite. And that's one way to kind of achieve your goals is if you're working on a project. If I'm totally a starter, I never finish anything, or I'm a finisher, but I just don't know how to get started. These are both big problems. So you need to get around them. But if you can hook up with somebody who's your opposite, that if you're a finisher, somebody can kind of help get the ball rolling, and then you take it and run with it. If you are somebody who's if you're more of a starter, and so find somebody who's really good at carrying things through, and you set up everything, you get the ideas out there, you present those things, and then you give it to somebody and they run with it. So a starter may be more of an idea person, and they want to hand that idea off to a person or another person or a team to execute. And finishers, they may need somebody to present them with an idea, and then they can make it a reality. So I've given this a lot of thought, and although I'd like to say I'm both, but I definitely lean more towards a finisher. I know that I do have a lot of ideas, but sometimes I don't know. I don't know, you know, sometimes I'll get started on something, but it just, there's the ramp up to actually getting started. It's a lot more difficult. So I think I fall into the finisher category, because I do have trouble getting started. Like with my comic book, Young and the Dead, I finished the last issue, and it's taken me a while to get back to the newest issue. And I don't know, there's just sort of there was a hesitancy there, like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to start, or if I'm in the right place. So, but I got to get over that, because I mean, you can't finish things if you can't start them, and vice versa. So we all need a little bit of both. But I definitely think I'm more of a finisher. Anyway, so for what it's worth, that's just a little bit, some definitions when it comes to different categories and what they all mean when it comes to starters and finishers. So hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, so there you go. So what do you think you are? Do you think you're a starter or a finisher? And what are you going to do to kind of bridge that gap if you fall squarely on one side or the other? Like I said, I think I'm a little more a finisher, but you know, so I got to make a little extra effort to when I'm just starting those projects and not kind of pushing them off, for me, it's always kind of a slow start. But anyway, let me know what you guys think you are in the comment section. I'll talk to you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.